of water at least?
Oh, we're live now. You can't go and get a glass of water.
Hi Facebook, hi Christina's LinkedIn profile. So it was my job to push the button today because Christina was in a meeting and potentially not going to join us on time, but she's here. I've just said to her go and get a glass of water because she's possibly been talking a lot this morning, but we're here, we're all set. Welcome to live lunch, everybody. It's Thursday 12 o'clock, so as usual we are here, just the ladies today, so we are missing our honorary gent, Loose Mark,
token male.
Yeah, token male. So Mark is on holiday this week. Well, I would say enjoying the weather, but I think he's just doing like DIY and home improvement. So yes, we're holding the fort in his absence. And it's been a busy old week. So if you're here and you're watching us, as always, please do comment. So add a comment on Facebook, comment on LinkedIn, and you know, the best ones we can bring on screen as well. And if you've got any marketing-y questions that have been burning in your brain that you want to ask us as well, now is the time to do it. So how is everyone?
Good, thank you. I feel like this week's been quite busy. We have a new mediator who started with us on Monday. So Mary, I think Mary might be watching actually. So hi Mary, if you're watching. But yeah, no, it's been going really well. I was having a quick chat with Jane actually about it just before we went live because it's the first online training that I've done. But I think it's going quite well. We had a sort of a little bit of a delay. So the way that we're doing it is on Zoom, and then I'm sharing my screen with Mary and basically talking her through everything that I'm doing as I'm doing it. So we did have a little bit of a delay on that on the first day. I don't know if it was one of our internet connections wasn't quite working. So that was a bit irritating because I had to keep checking what Mary could see, because I would say something and then Mary would say, oh, I can't see that at the moment. So then we'd have to go, okay, just give it 5 seconds. So we just sit there like this. So that was a bit annoying. But then, yeah, since then, it's been really good, actually. So I've been, sharing my screen with Mary. And then tomorrow, we're going to get Mary to do basically what I've been doing. And then she's going to share her screen with me and I'm going to talk her through it that way. So I just basically said to her, personally, when I'm learning new things, I learn them much faster when I'm doing it. But obviously everyone's different. So I said, how do you prefer to learn? Are you the same as me or do you prefer to watch people? And she said that she was the same. So yeah, hopefully tomorrow Mary will be doing all the work and I'll just get to sit back and relax.
Oh, nice. So good signs and a bit of growth for us as well at GU.
Yeah. No, it has been a really crazy week. It's like we've got new starters, we've got lots of things happening in the social media world and lots of news going on. I haven't stopped talking either. It's just like webinar, crowdcast, live stream. It's I'm really looking forward to a weekend of not speaking.
Oh, did I do that?
No, I think there might have been me. Oh, I don't know what's going on. Hey guys, we use StreamYard. So no, it has been a really, really crazy week. I've just noticed Andy Foots commented and just saying good morning on LinkedIn. So Andy is one of the people that I follow on LinkedIn who always knows before anyone else does what's happening from an algorithmic perspective on LinkedIn. So if LinkedIn is your platform, Andy's someone you should be connecting with and following his stuff. He shared a report in the last week that's kind of an update on the algorithm, what works, what doesn't. I don't think it was actually by him, but it's from another guy that we're both connected with. But yeah, definitely check him out. It's it's good to know as much as we do, but we have all these like specialists in certain areas we then go and dive into as well and kind of learn from. So that's really good to see him on there. But yeah, it's just been mental this week. I've obviously got verbal diarrhea. I can't like
come on, stop.
Christina, you came on at the beginning of this and said, right, whoever was going to lead, you lead, and I'll just sit here and join it.
I know.
And now you're like,
she can't resist. Oh, just up on your comment there about Andy and the algorithm. So he's really handily on LinkedIn shared a link to that newsletter. So I've put that on the screen. So if anyone wants an update on there, you will also see it. So we're streaming this under Christina's profile. So if anyone wants to connect with you or go look at the live stream or watching it on replay, they can get the link there as well. So thank you, Andy, for sharing that. Much appreciated. Paul has just chipped in. So it's great to see Paul as always. But also, I think just asking if we can mute Christina. We try, Paul. It doesn't always work. But makes us smile on a Thursday. So what else has been happening in the world of social and marketing updates then? Emily, you had spotted a few things that were worth sharing.
I did. So I've actually written it down because I was looking into it this morning after my in and around my training, I guess. And Twitter have updated their privacy and safety settings. So something that, what? I want a sandwich.
A sausage sandwich. I don't want to brag or anything, folks, but
I'm so jealous.
That's going to be a test of willpower over whether I could just sit here and look at it until
You've got quite a long time to go as well. Twitter, sausage sandwich was more important just then, but Twitter have been updating their settings or privacy and safety settings. And one thing that they have done is they've added, I think it's about 7 or 8, something like that. Anyway, how to small videos. So I did have a quick look at them, and they're sort of 30 odd seconds on how to update different elements of the privacy and safety settings. So the whole point of it is it's supposed to be a lot more user friendly, a lot easier for people to understand, and a lot easier for people to know where to go to update specific things. So I do have it open on my other screen. So the videos are my ad preferences, online activity, DMs, discoverability, location, followers, and content I see. So it's just something that I thought was quite interesting, really. I think it's good personally that they are making things like that more user-friendly and more easier for people that don't know exactly where to go, how to update these things. And I guess we kind of had that conversation before we went live, didn't we, about safety settings in general across all social media platforms, and specifically our opinions on them in regards to sort of safety settings for children. So obviously I don't have any children, so it's not really something that I have much experience on, but I do think that it's good that it is more user-friendly and easier for people to navigate, really. Even for people like me, I like to have control of those sort of things. So I think it's definitely a step in the right direction from Twitter.
The other thing as well is that when this stuff happens, it's quite, it's almost like, it's not just, okay, we've got these new settings on Twitter. It's also actually, when's the last time I checked my settings everywhere? Because we're all guilty of it. Something happens, you download an app, you give a permission to this, a permission to that. You set all your settings, you create your settings in a certain way. But then when you're out and about and you suddenly need something, you're clicking yes to all the buttons and all of a sudden it's like you've turned your settings on their head again. So actually just having those regular points where, when this stuff happens, use it as an opportunity to go back, go across everything and say, right, okay, are my settings as they should be, as I really want them? From a Facebook perspective, personally, I'm actually quite private. So a lot of my posts are restricted just to my friends on Facebook, and I don't accept friend requests from everyone. There's a lot of our clients that we've worked with for years I'm not friends with on Facebook, because that's not the type of relationship we have. Like the family and the kids and all that kind of stuff. I keep quite closed off. Not so much now, they're older maybe. But I'll be doing something and it's going on Facebook and it is something I want to be public because maybe it's a work-related thing. And then you forget to go back and turn that setting, switch it down again, basically. So having these regular points, whether it's once a quarter, once every 6 months, once a month, maybe, if that suits you as well, just to go back and look at all these settings, I think is really, really valuable.
Yeah, I think as well with those videos in particular on Twitter, like I did have a look at them, and like I said, they're only sort of 30-40 seconds each. They are very much to the point, and for somebody that doesn't know Twitter that well, I do think they are quite easy to use. They don't take up too much of your time. If that's something that you think, right, I need to go in and update these settings, but I don't quite know what to do, you can literally just click on those videos. I watched most of them before we joined this call. So yeah, I do think that's a good idea. And I'm also, whilst I like to think I'm relatively safe, I am also someone that always clicks accept. When I just want to get something done, I get pop-ups. So I'm like, okay, whatever, accept that. Yes, that's fine. And then I think, ooh, what have I just accepted? So yeah, I think I need to get better with that.
Right. If you ever get an email from somebody for, offering you lots of money, maybe they're a prince.
Yeah. It depends what they're
Don't
asking.
go for that.
No, I wouldn't. Don't worry. To be fair, I am quite switched on when it comes to emails. I'll give you that.
Your latest podcast on Christina Talks is a lot around cybersecurity and online security, isn't it?
Yeah, I had Francis West come and join me for an episode, and some of the information he's got to share is absolutely crazy. But he talks about, I was just thinking about him because he talks about picnic, problem in chair, not in computer.
That's a great little phrase, isn't it?
Absolutely. So yeah, but the stats, you kind of think that there's a lot of cybersecurity issues in certain parts of the world, or cybersecurity activity, let's say. And he's got this thing that he uses, and it's like a heat map of, where the hackers are. And like, there is a UK base. It's quite scary to look at.
Yeah.
But there we
go.
I
saw Francis posted on LinkedIn, I want to say this morning, but it might not have been this morning. And it was a clip from the One Show from last night. And there was a new scam that's going on targeting university students. And I think it's for their maintenance grant or something. And they're basically saying, you need to transfer this money or pay something straight away now. Otherwise, it's not going to, well, I don't know, otherwise you're going to lose it. Something's going to go wrong. Anyway, quite a lot of students have fallen for that. So yeah, it just shows you, doesn't it? I think when you see things like that and you see the map and you see how easy it is for some of these people, especially targeting younger people as well, I think, and a lot of these scammers target older people. So yeah, it's quite, they just go for the vulnerable, don't they? The people that they think they can get away with it and
pick on a weak spot
and get what they want. Yeah, exactly.
What impact does this have so if you're thinking about this from a marketing point of view, because it's good to know about the Twitter updates and the videos, bite-sized videos are fantastic. They're really easily digestible. But from a marketing point of view, what do we need to think about or be aware of? What should we be telling people?
So, I think it relates more on a personal brand perspective. So there is so much information that we share online anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And that information can be used to, it's like going to a psychic or a medium or something like that. That there's little hints and clues, and and they'll have conversation and they can make assumptions, and actually they kind of know what's going on. It's a similar thing. If you post something, you live in one place and all of a sudden you're posting that you're in Spain. Well, you're on holiday. It's an easy jump to make that kind of thing. So I think it is about just being really careful about the information you share. So from a marketing perspective, from a personal brand perspective, you're like, yeah, I want to document everything I'm doing. I'm here today. I'm there today. I'm, that this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. But all of that information can then be used against you, unfortunately. So you need to have your guard up when it comes to those odd phone calls, strange emails, the things in the post. You just need to be really, really aware of the information you're sharing. And it's things like if you're going on holiday and you've taken some photos or done some video whilst you've been away, don't share it whilst you're away. Share it the week after. You know, it's like, it's just little things like that. It's like when people plaster on Facebook that, yeah, I'm on holiday. What they're really plastering is my house is empty. You know, so there's just so many things that you can tell from a person. So I think that's really, really key. And then it's simple things like the two-factor authentication. You know, how are you logging into things? Are you using really, really obvious passwords? You know, if my password for my LinkedIn account was Green Umbrella Marketing, I would be hacked left, right, and centre. You know, Amanda, for a minute then you looked and I thought you were going, oh my God, I need to change my password.
No, I was just, the dog wandered past this time. I don't get any peace here.
So, you know, it's like it's all that obvious, you know, the stuff that is actually obvious when you say it, but then how many people actually are using the same password for all their social media channels?
Yeah.
How many people are actually using PA88 word as a password? You know,
you can Google the list of most common passwords, and there's things like password 123, or family names, that kind of thing. I know a lot of people say they struggle to remember. I know Francis advocates this, and he's obviously an expert on cybersecurity. I use a password manager, so it's, you know, recommended. So you literally, I use a thumbprint to log into it or a master password, and it auto generates a super secure password for you. Which yesterday I did have to share one with Emily. It was kind of like a Wi-Fi password that's full of exclamation marks and symbols, uppercase, lowercase, whatever. So. But yeah, I would highly recommend using one. We've had a question in, a question and a comment. So let's go for Paul's question first of all about Instagram. So just to read it out for anyone listening, Instagram rejects some of my automated posts via eClincher, but posts others. So eClincher is a scheduling tool. Do they have a policy on replicating posts? That's the only thing he can think of why the posts are being rejected. So I might default to you, Christina, on that and see what your thoughts are.
I've never come across posts being rejected on Instagram. On Twitter, yes, but I haven't seen that on Instagram. I'd be interested to see what, like, if you're getting a, you know, like a warning or whatever coming back, just to see exactly how that's worded. The other thing sometimes is it might be as simple as file size. So I just wonder if there's some of those. So it would be worth us having a look to see, is it always the same posts that are being rejected every time they come round? But yeah, that's a bit of a funny one. Jane, I don't know if you've got any thoughts on that one, if you've noticed anything. eClincher is a tool that we use all the time and recommend, but you're kind of the queen of eClincher.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, they definitely do for Twitter, but whether eClincher themselves have written something, so maybe Instagram doesn't care, but eClincher might have written something that goes across all platforms. So yeah, it could be.
Yeah. We'll have to dive into that one for you, Paul, offline, I think.
Yeah. File size is a good point, because I must admit I've tried to upload a couple of videos this week. One was a really short video, which was basically just animated a text post, but it was too small. File size was too small to be recognised as a video, so that post got rejected by LinkedIn. And then similarly, I had another one where the file size was way too big, so I need to press it down. So, but it did pop up with a warning to tell me that. So it's if you don't get a warning, it's worth just maybe having a look at file size to see if that could be something that's particularly affecting it. But that was for LinkedIn rather than Instagram. So Paul has also mentioned the social dilemma, which I think is something that comes up quite a lot. It's a program on Netflix, which is a sort of dramatization / real life story of how addictive social media platforms are and what they're, you know, how big brother they are, and what they're looking at. But I know Facebook have issued a response, but we haven't all seen it yet, so we keep saying we mustn't talk about it till everyone's seen it.
Okay, so Facebook's response to it is really, really wet lettuce. It's really, it's like you know, when you've got two kids and they've been rowing, and the person who's really to blame is going, yeah, but it's kind of like one of those, yeah, it's not fair. It's like one of those kinds of responses.
It feels like they are sort of saying, well, these people don't work here anymore. So it's almost like they're trying to say they're slightly disgruntled ex-employees. And that's not how we do things anymore. I'm not going to necessarily make out Facebook to be the bad guy. They're not hiding what they're doing. It's all these things about retargeting ads. We know what they do. They collect data about our behavior.
And the thing is, it's brilliant. It is absolutely, what it does, the power of it is amazing. And every business should be using the power behind it. The problem is that, some people have used it for some people have not used it for good reasons and not used it in positive ways. And that's where, I think if we'd not had the whole Cambridge Analytica thing, people would view it very differently.
Yeah.
It's the way it was used in that instance that's just kind of made everyone sit up and go, no, this is wrong. And I don't think it's, I'm saying that I don't mean to say that it's a bad thing that happened, but I think that, let's not forget just how powerful it is and how powerful it can be.
Absolutely. I think and actually, is it them that's bad, or is it just, this is like a huge moral question now we're almost going into, but is it humans? We're the ones that act on the information that we receive. If we're not savvy enough to go and find out if it's true, if it's old news or fake news or whatever, that's kind of down to the users. It's like, you can't blame car manufacturers if someone crashes.
And, and your privacy settings, and whether you've clicked accept on everything as you were accessing that website or that app or whatever, it's...
Don't look at me.
People are like, I'm being listened to because I had this conversation. Now there's this ad. Well, you had that conversation because you hang out with people that look at that product or that service, or, and, we all... So everyone on screen right now owns a dog. Okay, so if we start having a conversation about dog toys, and tomorrow one of us starts seeing Facebook ads about dog toys, or one of these like subscription packs where there's a new toy every month, it's like, it's not that you're being listened to. It's just that actually you spend a lot of time hanging out with people, in proximity with people that have similar interests. And therefore, you get targeted by this stuff. And it's about to get worse, guys. Between now and December the 25th, it's going to be rammed in your feed.
Don't say the C word. You know how excited Emily gets.
I received a brochure in the post yesterday, and it had all Christmas stuff and wreaths. And I was like, oh, this is so exciting.
Well, it actually segues nicely into some work that I've been doing this week as well. But before we even think about December and Christmas, etc., there are more kind of significant dates coming up for marketers. So depending on what sector you're in or where you are, we've got half term, which is coming up for kind of over the next 3 weeks. It depends where you are in the country. So it's maybe next week, might be week after. After that, so if you're US based at all, you've got Thanksgiving, less of an impact in the UK, but of course, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, that's just become a kind of global thing regardless. So all these are coming up this week, and I've been doing quite a lot of work with one of our customers on getting half term ready. So thinking about whether people need cover, let's face it, if they need staff cover, so temporary staff. People might be taking time off with the kids again since they've been back at school. Hopefully not, but absenteeism, let's face it, there are now potentially more lockdowns coming back, different tiers. So even if it's not half time, kids might be coming back to being homeschooled. So so there's kind of different, not that we're going right back to March and we're all in lockdown, but the marketing messages might need to be shifting again, talking about, and you need to be planning it now. I mean, really, to be thinking about half-term marketing is almost a bit late now if it's next week. I mean, you can keep your messages coming out there, but you need to be thinking and working backwards. This is some great advice that you always give, Christina, is to kind of say, right, work backwards from the end date, whatever that is. And it might be it goes beyond Christmas and goes into January. You know, if it's a consumer-based product you're marketing and you're going to have a January sale, you know, work back from there. So when's my last posting date? When am I having some special offers? What ads do I need to be showing when?
Yeah,
there's a lot in it.
Amanda, you said something then I really want to pick up on. So, you know, we may go into another lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
Now, back in March, when that happened, no one had been in that situation before. From a personal perspective, from a business perspective, from a financial perspective, from a marketing perspective, this was territory that like nobody knew what to do with. We don't have that excuse this time. If it happens again, you know, everything, like right now, it's a case of, right, what did we learn? But, you know, March, April, what did you learn? Have a plan now. Because if we go into that lockdown, if it does happen, you know, we're prepared. We're ready to go. Happy days. You know, I think if we do end up in another lockdown, anyone that's panicking at that point and feeling or thinking like they don't know what to do, then, well, more fool you, to be honest. Probably, you know, it's like, you know, I don't want to sound unsupportive, but it's like, okay, what do you want me to do about it? You know, everyone knows it. Everyone knows how likely it is to happen. Whether it happens or not is kind of irrelevant. We need to have a plan. That you probably, I would hope you have a plan in your business for what happens if there's a fire. Okay. If you've got serviced offices, there's probably some sort of plan for, you know, if there's a suspicious package somewhere and you need to leave the building, there will be a plan there. Chances of it happening, minimal, but you still have a plan. Okay. And a lot of these plans have been built out of things that have happened previously, whether it's your own experiences or, you know, something that's happened elsewhere and the information's been shared. But right now, we've got some, you know, that there's something looming. You might decide to essentially lock down your own business. You know, I hope you don't. I hope that isn't something that you have to consider. But, you know, we've had all this stuff happen. We've learned. So let's put that into practice. So sorry, I kind of took things around the houses again. So let's jump back in where you were.
I think you're absolutely right. And again, it's not like Christmas is a surprise every year. You know, oh, where did that come from? We know. So, and I know, you know, everyone's busy. Let's face it. That's one of the kind of things with just the universe at the moment. We're all busy. But if you want, you know, you can't leave these kind of marketing to the last minute. You need to be thinking and planning ahead. So, and kind of that chain of so let's say Facebook, for example, what should my Facebook adverts be looking like to start with? Are they special offers? Is it a like campaign? And Jane, I know you've been doing an absolute heap of work on Facebook ads recently, and we're getting more and more inquiries about it as well. So, yeah, what golden nuggets have you got to share with us on Facebook ads?
Yeah, I have been doing a heck of a lot of ads recently for various things. But, you know, I had a really good conversation with Christina yesterday, and we were just sort of talking about the fact that everyone is, you know, as you said, they know Christmas is coming up. So it's like, what can I do? We might have another lockdown. I need to sell as much as I can. I'm going to do some Facebook ads because they're quick, cheap, easy, you know, whatever. So we've got the fact that it's coming up to Christmas. Got the fact that there might be another lockdown, but we've also got the fact that because of COVID and all the rest of it, so much more e-commerce is actually happening generally. So people are really looking for whatever they want online before thinking of going out to the shops for it. So the problem with advertising is that everybody is trying to do it. So they're all competing for the same advertising space. They all want your attention, don't they? So. And unless you start putting plenty of money into it or making your ads stand out from the rest, you're just going to get lost in a sea of other people's ads or not even shown at all. You know, I mean, if you're starting putting £1 a day on your adverts, they might not get shown because there's other big people are putting £100 a day on their adverts.
Yeah, thousands even. Yeah.
You've really got to think about it. And if you're a small person that can't afford to spend that kind of money, you've got to think outside the box a little bit. So one of the things we were sort of saying yesterday was, if you normally sell all over the country, maybe don't do that this time. Maybe look at your Facebook insights, see where your most popular people are, and maybe only target those areas, so that you're sort of narrowing the pool, but you might get more sales out of it just because they're the people who probably already know you. So your audience isn't quite so cold, and that might help. And you could spend a bit more money, if you can afford it, try spending a bit more money. One of the other things we were trying to do is, rather than just send out adverts to every platform, really tailor them down to each platform individually. So one of the ones I was doing yesterday was specifically for for Instagram stories, and it was really tailoring it down so it only was going to Instagram stories. It was perfect just for that platform. So, it's a little bit more time and effort got to go into your adverts, really nail them down for where they're going and the people that they're showing to, because otherwise you're just going to get lost, really.
I think that, any type of marketing you do, the more targeted you are, the more niche you can be, generally, the more successful it is. And that's exactly what Jane's talking about. So looking at those locations, okay, we're going to sell our product UK wide, but we know that we have, so if I look at Green Umbrella's client base, we literally have like 2 clients in Scotland, 1 client in Wales that uses us regularly. We don't really have anything much north of York. We don't have a mass down on the south coast. So actually I could look at those areas and go, right, where I know our client base is already, let's just show our ads in those places. Or actually I know that we've got a real pocket of people in Manchester, Birmingham, London. Let's just show our adverts there. If you know that, let's say that the people that buy from you are really interested in, a certain thing, and because of that, they're likely to go to these places. So, we're down the road from Silverstone. So let's say we were going to go, right, where are all the, like the racing tracks in the UK? And maybe we're going to drop a pin on all of those, because what we're selling is going to be of interest to people that are interested in motor racing. And it's things like that. It's like, actually, how can we bring it down the level? How can we make it more niche? And it is, again, Jane, the stories thing we talked yesterday. It's being fit for purpose.
Yeah.
Having it, I've created one ad, I'm just going to throw it everywhere. But actually, it looks great on Facebook desktop, but on stories, it just looks like it's been plonked there. And there's all these, if you open up your app on Instagram and you flick through stories, there's some amazing story ads, and they're do like really making a swipe up feature. If your ad is next and it's just like your image and your crappy text, because on Instagram stories the text looks crappy, people are not going to engage with it. Why would they?
They'll just scroll straight past, won't they?
Yeah, it's like, that's crap. Let's keep going. Cool.
Yeah, really interesting. It's and stories are so digestible. I think they just keep increasing in usage, don't they?
Yeah. Oh, there's so many cool things you can do with it from an advertising perspective. This is what Jane and I were talking about yesterday. We were like, looking at all sorts of stories, ads, and we could do this and we could do that. And it's like, yeah, okay. You need to calm down again.
Going back to doing targeting, I think, every year there's a bit of a push around Small Business Saturday. So, which is normally, it's like one of the first weekends in December. But I have a real sense there's going to be a lot of people wanting to support smaller businesses and local businesses this year, because they've had such a tough time, and because we all know how well Amazon's doing, and they often get kind of, the bad boys of consumerism. So if you are a small business, whether you're a service-based business or, consumer products, play on that, definitely. help a small local business, make sure that, and if you're doing your, if you're based and you're I don't know, Welsh made crafts or something, you would really play on that for that audience. So similarly, if you were Hampshire, a gin maker in Hampshire, for example, again, you might play on the kind of the local side of things, and have different ads for different locations, so that people recognize immediately where it is, what it is, and think, wow, that's a great gift. But yeah, so super niche, super targeted.
Definitely. Definitely.
A little update from Paul, so that's quite good. Our advice about why his posts were being rejected was indeed file size. So if anyone else is stumbling across that problem about sharing updates, whether natively or through a posting tool like eClincher, it could be file size. That was the sticking point there.
Cool.
What else is going on in the ether?
So I've got a meeting straight after this, because we might be doing some stuff locally around Small Business Saturday.
Oh, and I didn't know that. So that's just a nice, happy coincidence. I wasn't teeing it up for you.
No, I know that's one of the things I'm telling you tomorrow in our strategy session, Amanda. But so spoilers. But the thing is, so I can't really talk in much detail about it at the minute, but I'm just really pleased that we're going to be getting involved with this campaign. But it ties in again, because actually, as a small business, it's about looking at who you can partner with. So who are the other small businesses around you? What can you do together? How can you pool your resources? So, are you going to do something locally where you're going, maybe you're going to do a live stream once a week, and actually you're going to have some of the business owners from from your locality together, knowing that, this can, if we were from different businesses, we could all be live streaming this. So it is things like that, the joint venture stuff. If there's a community of you, in your local area, perhaps you're going to put some sort of, maybe you're going to do some sort of Small Business Saturday event, but maybe it's something like, everyone's going to do 5% off, or there's going to be some sort of trail around, your physical location, and, people need to come into your shop to get their stamp, or, whatever it might be. Actually, now's the time community-wise for people to be pulling together and going, right, what can we do? How can we work together? It might be a group of you. It might just be like, one or two people working together, pooling resources. But, it's, you've got similar audiences. You do something different, but you've got similar audiences. Actually, how can you access each other's audiences? We've always talked about doing things like guest blogging and that kind of stuff. But right now, things like doing the live videos, it's just so valuable and it's so easy to do.
I think that people still got a massive fear of being on camera and going live. And again, so it was Mental Health Awareness Day last weekend.
Yes.
And I was trying to encourage some of our clients to do a really short piece to camera that was maybe just a sentence about mental health. So all they would have to have said was 5 words maybe. And so people, I can't do that. I'll do that. There is an element.
For me, I think when I'm doing this every week, I feel much more comfortable. If I had to hold my camera up and talk to the camera, I'd hate it. If I've had to say one word, I would hate it. But I think I do understand where they're coming from. But at the same time, I also know, obviously, how important it is, that personal element, especially when it comes to small businesses. So it is really important to just get over that, basically. Yeah, but I find the mental barrier for me is really hard. Like, to literally hold up my camera and just talk, I would feel so awkward.
There is an element of literally just get over it.
Yeah, I know.
Because and sometimes it's just a lot easier to explain things as well. Yeah. So rather than writing a massive post or an email that says, I just need you to do this, and it can be a couple of seconds long, to do a video yourself and say, this is what's going on. I need you to do X, Y, Z for me, or, send a voice note. It's so much easier, and people are more responsive to you.
I was going to say I'm a massive fan of voice notes now, thanks to Christina, I think, and I've got all my friends doing it, and now they hate messaging because they think it's we send quite long messages, obviously if you haven't got up for ages, whereas if you can just send a quick voice note, it's so much easier than sitting there typing everything out.
I love voice notes on WhatsApp and on LinkedIn Messenger. Honestly, sending a voice note to a prospect is so, like, you can send a video to your prospect and that's great. They get to see your face and everything else. But it's the voice note just works so nicely because you don't know what's going to be in it.
No. And it's crazy because why is that any different to leaving someone a voicemail? Because in theory, it's not. But so many people just don't bother listening to a voicemail because they think, well, I know what she's ringing for.
Yeah.
So they just delete it. So even family, let's face it, if I get like my parents ring me, I know that I just need to ring them back. I very rarely listen to the voicemail. So
see, my dad gets annoyed at me if I don't listen to his voicemail because he always likes to leave a joke in there or something.
Oh.
Typical dad joke.
Oh, Dad Baxter. Well, and Paul has also commented saying, when you've got a face for radio, it's tough to go on screen. It's just not true, Paul. I think you need to kind of own it.
Confidence is
Paul
key.
just doesn't have the swag.
Yeah, again, I think we said this before. If you go back and look at some of the live lunches we did at the end of March, beginning of April.
So 31 weeks ago.
Yeah, I was going to say, what episode are we on now? 31, is it? Crikey. And it's, we all probably still feel a little bit awkward. And some days we're kind of, what should we talk about today? And we might go away afterwards and think, did I sound all right? That same way as you do when you're presenting a webinar. But you kind of get to the point where you're like, I don't have the energy to waste on this. I've just got to get it done and move on.
Yeah, 100%. It's just feel the fear and do it anyway. Yeah. And I think that, it's like so many people are, don't really want to do a Zoom call. I don't like being on camera, blah, blah, blah. Amanda and I were on a meeting this week and we were talking about doing video and someone literally were like, they were like, oh, no. And I was like, you're on camera now. Like, what if we just edit a bit of this out? Because that thing you said a minute ago was brilliant and you came across really, really well. Just be you. Just the fact that you're on camera doesn't mean you have to then be someone else or something else. And it's, for the most part, I'm quite a cool, calm individual, but then I get a bit giddy at times, and I think you guys would say that is the real me. I'm like miserable, don't say anything, and then all of a sudden I'm like, and I think literally, like, I can't stop bouncing in my chair. I'm just like excited about the world today. But it's like you just have to be you. You just have to be prepared to be you, and it's just the idea of it that people actually fear rather than do it yourself.
Yeah. So, lovely comment from Jasmine saying she totally hears what we're saying. She loves it, and she said also added, "There's we don't have time to criticize ourselves. Self-reflection is good, but not to dwell on it and waste energy. And there's a, like you say, this whole kind of fake it till you make it type thing as well. So just act as if you're the pro. Your brain
someone said to me, it's like it's not what is it? It's not fake it till you make it. It's like be it until you believe it. And it is like, it's basically just do it. Just do it. Yeah. So again, if any, we have some weeks it's just us. Other weeks we have a guest on. If you're watching this and you're a bit nervous of live, so you haven't done one before, reach out to us. Come and join us one week. We can talk a bit about what you do. We can talk about your marketing. If you've got marketing questions, we can answer them live. We'd love to have people, we're constantly thinking about who we're going to invite next, If you want to come and join us, come and join us.
Yeah.
I do think that's a good step as well. For me personally, rather than literally click and go and sitting there on your own, I think to join people that have done it like quite a few times, the focus isn't all on you, is it? So there's a conversation going there and other people can get involved. So it's a good stepping stone. For me, personally, I feel so much more confident now doing this to hold up a camera on my own than I did before. I absolutely hated being on any type of camera. So I think it does work. You're right, Christina.
I'm always right. You need like a little bangle or something. Like Christina's always right. I might get you one each for Christmas. I'll buy
I love it.
It's good. We've got a couple of people already volunteering, so thank you for that. We'll reach out and see what we can set up. But time has really raced today, hasn't it?
It's good.
It's wisdom. So, should we start to wrap up, or is there any more for any more?
No, we can wrap up. I don't think I've really got anything else. What have I been talking about this week? Do you know what? It's probably just some reminders from me. So I was talking to someone, the call I was on that I thought I was going to be late joining this. We were talking about Google My Business. So if you've decided to launch a business during lockdown, Google your business name, what's coming up, and look for a little card on the right-hand side on your desktop. If that's not appearing, you need to tell Google you exist, basically. We've got a blog on the website that will explain how to do that. So we'll dig that out and stick it in the comments. So that's probably one thing. The other thing is all the conversations you have with your clients. Every time you finish a call, every time you finish a meeting, just write down at the bottom of your notes one question that client asked you and create some content around that question.
Yeah.
So,
there's a blog in every day.
There's about 23 of them, but one or two.
No one can write 23 blogs a day.
Fantastic. So, Emily, anything finally from you?
No, I don't think so. I just wanted to chat about the Twitter updates, really, but I don't think there's anything else.
Cool. And what about you, Jane? Any more pearls of wisdom?
No, sorry.
We've got a guest next week, Jane, haven't we? Tee us up.
Jackie Tor from Team is joining us next week.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Oh, we love Jackie. So, so she heads up Team, the employment agency network, which is the largest network of independent recruiters in the UK. So she will be sharing with us kind of how their year's been. I know they're growing at a rapid rate of knots as well. So some good news stories out there, despite some of the doom and gloom that we do here. So join us all next week, I guess. Same time, same place, 12 o'clock Thursday. LinkedIn, on Christina's profile, and our Green Umbrella Company page, and live on YouTube as well. I always forget that one.
Yeah. Oh.
Such
Oh God.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you for joining us. Bye.